Say what's going on. So, as promised, this is week 4 of my 52-week challenge. Challenge to myself to see if I can once a week be consistent with something that I have not been consistent. I don't think I've developed any real habits over the past couple of years since I've been retired, except for my workouts, my exercising and going to the gym. And then, so that has been my focus, what I'm trying to do, be consistent with some things. And so since taking up swimming, I do that weekly. That's working out really well. Speaking of that, it's still kind of icy out there, and the gym might be open from 12 to 5 today because we're still dealing with these weather complications. But what I wanted to share with you today, because it's the end of the month, first month of January, so I've been consistent this month about posting on my YouTube channel every Tuesday, so you can come back here every Tuesday and tap into the Tuesdays with a freshman senior. What a freshman senior is a freshman senior citizen. So I am 63 years old, and I am proud of that. But it has been, there are still times where I'm nervous about sharing my age because age discrimination is real. But I have to ask myself, who am I worried about being discriminated? Who's discriminating against me? What difference does it make? In 2026, it makes me know, never mind, that you know my age. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of how far I've made it. And so I will continue to practice, because the thing about a habit, the reason I'm doing this 52-week challenge is I want to develop some good habits, because I believe that while I am a retired educator, I've got some things that I want to teach the world, put out here into the world, but I've got to get more comfortable with doing that. So, welcome to my channel. Welcome back. I'm LaRonda. This month, every month, at the end of the month, what I will do is share with you some books that I have come across that I enjoy. And this month, Happy Land. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about technology and that kind of thing, because I would love for that little Happy Land picture to be smaller. Couldn't figure it out and started getting frustrated about it, and was like, guess what? You got it up there. You got it up there partially. So here we go. This book, the funny part is that I listen to a lot of audiobooks. Don't buy a whole bunch of books. I buy a lot of books, but I also, I listen to books. Check them out from the library and through Libby, through the Libby app. And so I had listened to the book, The American Queen. And then the next year, this book, Happy Land, came out. And I read it, and I do read series of books sometimes. Sometimes there'll be an author that likes to, that'll put out a book. Because sometimes, have you ever read a book and you wish you knew more about those characters? You wish that, and so there are some authors who say, like, I have 3 brothers, right? And you read a book about me, and then the next book would be about my oldest brother. The next book would tell the story of my youngest brother, etc. So these 2 authors, though, I don't know. I didn't go deep down into their story or whatever to find out if they compared notes when they were writing these stories about the Happy Land, that they both write about the same place called the Happy Land that is in the hills of western North Carolina. And they're telling the same story. So it's a story based on true events, but it's historical fiction, because nobody knows 100% of anything. The author of Happy Land is Dolan Perkins Valdez, and the author of American, the American queen is Vanessa Miller. So I'm reading my notes because I'm a teacher and I take notes so that I can get my facts straight. Actually, truth be told, full transparency, I had recorded a video before that I was going to post. And then once I went back down into my rabbit hole, into my research, I was like, oh, these two books are telling the same story. I knew they sounded familiar when I read Happy Land. It made me so happy. I read it at the end of last year. And I knew I'd heard about Happy Land, but I kind of confused it with maybe some of the Gullah Geechee stories that I've read or heard, or when I went to Charleston, North Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, geographically challenged, always all over this country and all over the world, and still geographically challenged. When I went to Charleston and visited the African American Museum there and learned so much about their culture, and then learned some more about New Orleans, where my daughter, her father's family is from. But that's a whole nother story. So many stories to tell. But yeah, so Happy Land. When the book starts out with Nikki being summoned by her grandmother grandmother wants to talk to her and get her involved in some things. And Nikki puts her life on pause to go check on her grandmother. And one of the things about that stuck with me as I am on a quest and a journey to understand my own family history, I did not grow up around my grandparents on either side. But I did grow up. I grew up around my mother's siblings. My mother's siblings. Because my grandmother died when I was really young. I was about 4 when my grandmother passed. Never knew my grandfather on my mother's side because he too, I just discovered last month that he too died when I was about 2 or 3 years old, 1 or 2, somewhere around there. I was really young. So my mother lost both of her parents when she was in her 20s. And then on my father's side, so my grandmother, my maternal grandmother had 6 children. Is that right? I wrote it down because I was like, let me see if I can get this right. My maternal grandmother had 6 children. My maternal grandfather had 8 children. Then my paternal grandmother had 10 children. And I don't know about my paternal grandfather. I mean, he had 10 with my grandmother, but I'm not sure because they did get divorced, and I'm not sure if he had other children along the way. But that means that I have a lot of cousins. And so while I didn't grow up with my father and was disconnected from my father's side of the family, in December of 2025, I began a quest to get reconnected. And I'm doing pretty well. As you can imagine, there's a whole bunch of us out there. So my last name, my maiden name is Gibbs. And so my quest is to find more Gibbses, because like I said, there are 10. If my grandmother pumped out 10 children, it's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. And I'm interested in what they've been up to, who they are, as well as, my aunts and uncles. We're all getting on up here in age at this point. I think the older ones are in their 80s. And a lot of them have passed away, but they left behind descendants, right? Their children. So this story, Happy Land, Nikki goes down and talks to her grandmother, and her grandmother is telling her a story of Nikki's great-great-great-grandmother, Luella. The great-great-great-grandmother, Luella, is the queen of the Happy Land. Okay? then the book, The American Queen, tells Luella's life story about how, she was born enslaved and how they left. This is 1865 to 1889, and they Luella says she was enslaved on a Montgomery plantation and treated in all the ways that enslaved people were treated, and it recounts some of the poor, harsh treatment that she encountered. And then they left, and they went out to this land, the kingdom of the happy land, and they created. And again, so I encourage you to read these two stories, read them together. Read The American Queen first, because it was published in 2024, and then in 2025, The Happy Land was published. And now that I think about it, I might go back and reread both of them, because it's written as historical fiction with a lot of truth. There's a lot of, so Nikki, her grandmother is telling her the story of what she knew, so about her great-great-grandmother, Luella, and how they came to be on the land, what they did with the land, how they lived and survived in spite of, they couldn't just go to the grocery store and do things. They had to build a community of and for and by and about themselves. And so I remember when I went to Ghana a few years back, I was fortunate enough to travel with a pastor, Pastor Soares from New Jersey, who happened to have been the pastor of this king. He wasn't a king when he was in the United States, in New Jersey, attending Pastor Soares' church, but he was in line to the throne there in Ghana. And when his father passed away, he ascended to the throne. That's not true. It wasn't when because I think the way royalty works in Ghana, check me if I'm wrong, I think it was his uncle who passed away. And because I think they have it set up some kind of way, I'm getting this all wrong now, some kind of way that the queen mother is the aunt of the king. She's not his mother. Okay? So I met the chief, and the chief had been the son of the former king. But they knew the way the legacy was going to come down was that the king made sure that his nephew was educated and had all the opportunities, because one day he would be king. So he had his businesses and came to the United States to be educated, did business here in the United States until it was time for him, once the former king passed away. Then he went back to Ghana. And when I got to visit with Pastor Soares, we got to visit a palace. We got to meet the Queen Mother. We got to meet the king. We got to meet the chief and learned more about their history that I had no clue about, right? I'm not Ghanaian. Actually, I've done my African ancestry, and my people, my DNA says that we are from Sierra Leone. I know that much. I got a certificate and everything, and prayerfully one day, God willing, I will also get to visit Sierra Leone so I can see and do some more research. But that is the catalyst for me wanting to investigate my own family here in the United States. I'm looking at my notes. One of the things I just heard was that, we should ask our elders questions while they're still here. And this is another thing that's important to me because I am one of the elders now. At 63 years old, I am one of the elders. And the young people might not think about it. I didn't think about it when my mother was, well, actually, sadly, my mother had, like I said, she lost her parents really young. And she was hustling, trying to make a way out of no way all of her life. When my grandmother passed, she left 3 children who were still minors. And my mother took 2 of those children to help raise to adulthood, help support their growth and raise them. And my youngest uncle was my older uncle took him to help raise him to adulthood. So if you are interested in two good books about Black history based in historical facts, the author of The American Queen, there's a video out where she went to visit the land in North Carolina that this community existed. We go to Black Wall Street in Tulsa, and we've heard about Rosewood and these other things. There's a lot of things for us to learn historically about our people. And the other, preemptively share with you that the month of February, I will be focused on my channel on Black history. Hey, I am figuring out how to live a different life, how to live a different style of life. And part of that different lifestyle has to do with me taking full advantage of social media and taking advantage of the resources that are at my disposal. I've got a lot of virtual mentors, if you will, who are doing it as well. And I don't have a lot in my age range, which is fine. I learn from anybody. Child, I can learn from anybody. And so I'm trying to get into a lane that is kind of unpaved and offer resources for people who are interested in learning from somebody like me. So come back next week. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, share with the people. I heard that's what I'm supposed to say. That's what when I watch other videos, that's what they say. Yeah, encourage me, because I am doing a new thing at this big age, and I'm proud of myself, and I hope that what I am doing will serve as a catalyst and a way of encouraging other people to do something new. Okay? Happy Land and The American Queen. Go check them out. You won't be sorry. I'm telling you, you'll like them.